Hey guys, alright? Welcome everyone. Amid a nearly empty highway, we see a moving car. Inside it is Ashley, who is on her way to pick up her husband named Max. He had been detained for over a year, and finally, that was the day of his release. With Max finally free, they set off together towards their home. During the trip, Max asks about their son, wanting to know how he's doing. Ashley enthusiastically responds that he's doing very well and has started school. A bit later, at a gas station, while Ashley is refueling the car, Max decides to enter a nearby convenience store. While browsing, the local sheriff named Clay, who is already there, asks the store clerk about a murder involving a local merchant. The man suggests that the culprit might be Bigfoot, a legendary creature rumored to inhabit the forests of that region. Although many believed in the existence of these folkloric creatures, the sheriff doesn't give credit to the Bigfoot theory and asks the shopkeeper to report any information about the missing man. Later, Max exits the store and joins Ashley outside. But before they can get in the car, he notices a group of local hunters being highly unpleasant and disrespectful to Ashley. They somehow seem to know that Max is a former convict and call him a criminal. Ignoring the group, the couple continues on their way. Max starts drinking beer in the car, which annoys Ashley, as she didn't like him drinking or smoking. An argument unfolds on the matter, revealing tensions in the relationship. While they argue, they don't notice a man stepping out of the woods and onto the road in front of the car. They graze him, and when they check the man's condition, they find him severely injured, with severely bruised legs and several cuts on his body. They initially assume he's dead, soon realize he's alive. Ashley decides to call the police to report the accident, but Max, worried about potential trouble due to his recent release from prison, stops her from making the call. However, Ashley decides to call the police anyway and provides the accident's location. While waiting for help, Max notices something in the forest, but before he can examine it, they are surprised by someone who begins to throw stones in their direction. They take cover behind the car, but at one point, Max is hit in the head by one of the stones, causing him to fall into the river next to the highway. Worried, Ashley rushes to help him, but upon reaching him, she finds him unconscious due to the impact. Without hesitation, Ashley then jumps into the river to rescue him, but the turbulent waves carry them downstream. Finally, as they get closer to the shore, Ashley immediately starts resuscitation procedures on Max, who fortunately regains consciousness. Although they have escaped the water, prolonged exposure to the cold water has left them shivering and quite far from the road. While they recover, a strange creature is seen near the accident site, where, with great force, it pushes their car into the river without much difficulty. Unfortunately, the man who was hit by the car during the accident did not survive, and the creature takes his body into the forest. Meanwhile, Max and Ashley struggle to warm up and dry their clothes after their river ordeal. With Max's lighter, they manage to light a fire and hang their wet clothes on nearby bushes, sitting beside the fire to regain warmth. In the meantime, Sheriff Clay continues his journey, meeting a woman who inquires about her missing husband, who is one of the missing victims. Although the officer doesn't have answers to offer, he tries to comfort her and promises that they will do their best to find him. Upon entering the police office, he asks his deputy if he believes in the existence of Bigfoot, a mythical being. The deputy seems to believe in the legend, but the conversation is interrupted when a female officer reports a call she received from a woman on the highway about an accident. Sheriff Clay arrives at the accident site and finds the car in the river as night falls. Upon inspection, he discovers Ashley and Max's documents and decides to investigate the case. Meanwhile, Ashley and Max agree not to fight anymore and promise to stay together. At dawn, they plan to follow the course of the river, but soon realize there is no clear path ahead. Determined to continue, they venture further into the forest. However, they are not alone as someone has been pursuing them for some time. This person possesses remarkable forest camouflage skills, making them almost invisible even when in close proximity. And soon, it becomes apparent that this someone is none other than Bigfoot, the legendary and feared creature of the region. Suddenly, they hear a gunshot. As they investigate the source of the shot, they come across the group of local hunters who had previously encountered Ashley and Max at the gas station. Realizing that these people may not be of help, Max asks Ashley to hide to protect her from the lecherous looks of the group. Max approaches the group to ask for help, but instead, they start laughing at him. Max asks for a cell phone to call for help, but the group's leader, named BD, claims there's no signal in the forest and didn't bring a cell phone but has a radio. Max asks for the radio, but BD refuses. When Max inquires about directions to the main trail, BD is reluctant to share information. Meanwhile, Ashley, hiding, has a scary encounter with Bigfoot, who cuts her hair and closely observes her before disappearing. Terrified, she runs towards Max, and when this group sees her in her frightened state, they taunt her. However, BD decides to help the couple and offers them dry clothes. Together, they continue their journey. In the meantime, the sheriff is trying to understand what happened to their car and begins to consider believing in the legend of Bigfoot, attributing the incidents to the mythical creature. But he wrestles with his thoughts, struggling not to believe in it. Ashley and Max continue their journey, while BD continues to belittle Max with offensive words, especially regarding Ashley. Despite feeling offended, Max can't do anything as they are outnumbered. However, 2 members of the group had separated to investigate something strange near a tree. While one is urinating, the other waits. But as he returns to check on his friend, he is horrified to see him with an arrow pierced through his neck, dying instantly. He attempts to see who is responsible and notices movement further ahead, but is also struck in the neck the same way as his friend. The horrifying creature slowly approaches the man, and as he looks in shock, the enormous, hairy humanoid creature comes closer. The monster pierces his eyes with 2 fingers and then crushes his head with its hands, demonstrating its brutal strength. In the meantime, a 3rd member of the group went to call for them. However, he doesn't find them because Bigfoot had taken the bodies of the 2 hunters. Upon hearing the creature's roar, a hunter gets scared and starts running but stumbles and severely injures his arm due to the fall. Bigfoot then approaches him and attacks him with a blade several times until beheading him. On the other hand, the group that was still taunting Ashley and Max was unaware of the horrors taking place deep in the forest. Bigfoot was already nearby and fires an arrow, killing one of the taunters, which alarmed the rest of the group. One of them fired in Bigfoot's direction, but his bullets didn't hit it. Only one member of the group could see the creature, and as he shot at it, in his desperation, he shot his own comrade. In this confrontation, Max was also shot and injured, falling to the ground unconscious. The shooter who saw Bigfoot ran out of ammunition, and the creature quickly approached him, slashing his throat with a blade. Then, it went after Ashley, who was hiding with one of the hunters, and finding her, killed the hunter by crushing his jaws. However, upon seeing Ashley, Bigfoot let the man go and continued to chase her. It eventually manages to capture her further ahead and takes her with it. Passing by the spot where the hunters' bodies were, Max was still alive. The creature was threatening Max when suddenly, BD, who was also still alive, shoots it in the shoulder. However, this only serves to enrage the creature more, and it soon grabs BD, causing him to faint. Bigfoot then takes Ashley and BD with it to some location. On the other hand, the sheriff and his deputy are summoned to a ceremony held by a woman with cancer. Initially reluctant to attend, Clay ends up accompanying his partner to the ceremony. Meanwhile, Max remains wounded in the middle of the forest, where he is found by a strange and enigmatic elderly woman. She takes him to her home deep in the heart of the forest, filled with peculiar objects, including bones and insects in jars. The woman begins to treat Max's wounds, removing the bullets and performing strange procedures. She applies an ointment and stitches Max's wounds. Meanwhile, Ashley awakens in a cave, where she finds BD surrounded by skeletons and the lifeless members of BD's group. Bigfoot appears, kills BD with a large knife, and removes his organs. Then the creature turns to Ashley, subjecting her to disturbing sexual abuse. The sheriff, the deputy, and other participants are gathered in a ritual where they drink a ritualistic beverage. The sheriff inadvertently consumes a drink he didn't intend to. The participants begin singing in accordance with their tradition. Soon, the sheriff begins feeling the effects of the drink, which lead him exhausted and with strange visions. His face distorts, and the deputy looks terrifying in his momentary vision. However, the deputy's face soon returns to normal. Among the people dancing, the sheriff mistakenly identifies a man as Bigfoot. In another scene, we witness a man curing a woman's cancer by performing a bizarre abdominal cutting procedure. Astonishingly, the woman shows no signs of pain. However, the sheriff is fed up with the visions and starts sweating, leaving the area. The next day, when Max regains consciousness, he finds the sheriff beside him and immediately inquires about his wife, Ashley's whereabouts. The sheriff, although skeptical about Bigfoot, is aware of all the events and begins explaining the situation to Max. He shares the story of the demonic creature, Bigfoot, still inhabiting the forest. The sheriff explains that Bigfoot is, in fact, the embodiment of the soul of an ancient tribe leader. Despite having been a leader in ancient times, the soul of this leader now resides in Bigfoot, causing fear and terror. Max learns that Bigfoot had taken Ashley and was wounded because BD had shot him in the shoulder. Max and the sheriff decide to enter the forest to confront Bigfoot, taking advantage of its vulnerability due to the injury. Aware that Bigfoot possessed supernatural abilities like acute sense of smell, they took precautions by rubbing a liquid on their bodies to mask their scent. Armed with ancient weapons, they set out to face Bigfoot. While they walk towards their confrontation, the bizarre elderly woman begins to play her drum. Ashley, still captive of Bigfoot, was forced to eat human flesh. She used a sharp bone and a stone to cut the ropes that bound her. As Bigfoot leaves the cave in response to the drum sound, Ashley escapes. Max and the sheriff continue their search for Bigfoot in the forest. The sheriff suddenly senses someone nearby and draws his weapon. Bigfoot, which could also smell the bullets, immediately locates the sheriff. The sheriff shoots at Bigfoot, hitting it but enraging the creature that retaliates brutally by slashing the sheriff's throat. Max arrives at the scene, finding the sheriff's lifeless body, but Bigfoot had already fled. Max takes the sheriff's weapon, and Bigfoot's blood stains the area, revealing a trail. Max follows these stains and spots Ashley, determined to confront Bigfoot. He attracts Ashley's attention, urging her to go back, but she refuses, determined to eliminate the Bigfoot threat. Ashley shares the monster's location with Max and shoots at the creature. They start running together, covering a long stretch before stopping to rest. However, they hear Bigfoot's roar, indicating that it was still alive. Max chooses to confront the monster to allow Ashley to escape safely. Although reluctant, Ashley agrees, and they say their goodbyes. She then heads towards the main road. Max confronts Bigfoot, shooting it repeatedly. However, the creature's ferocity is impressive, and defeating it would not be easy. Bigfoot advances rapidly, grabbing Max by the neck and lifting him into the air. Max counterattacks with a knife, causing Bigfoot to release him. He picks up a sharpened piece of wood and starts running, but unfortunately, he steps on a trap set by the monster. Bigfoot seizes him again, but Max continues to strike it with the broken piece of wood, eventually defeating Bigfoot. Max, incredulous, still feared that Bigfoot might revive. To make sure, he takes a large stone and smashes the creature's head. As Max began to feel some relief from it all, 2 arrows strike him in the chest. To his unfortunate surprise, many Bigfoots surrounded him. This indicated that it wasn't a single creature, but rather several, spelling the end for Max. Meanwhile, Ashley finally made it to the main road safely, unaware that the nightmare is not over.